www.rei-tv.com. I'm Nick, your host, and this is the Flippin' Right Show. Today we're talking about persistence. You know, that stickability, the ability to keep on going when things keep whacking you in the head. And I think that's something that new investors and every investor needs a checkup from the neck up every now and then about. You know, sometimes this business can be tough. I don't care what the gurus tell you. This is not an easy business. It's simple sometimes. And once you know how to do it, once you've done your first deal, it's like the gates open and knowledge flows, and it's just the experience. And a lot of it is the confidence that you gain from getting that first deal. But you have to be persistent. You got to keep on going when things get tough. You know, they say, I don't know what they say, but in any case, there's a story about a miner, and this guy, he wanted to, back in the gold rush days, he wanted to be a gold miner, but he didn't want to do it himself. He wanted to hire a company and really do it big time. So this guy went out and he got a loan, and he borrowed all kinds of money and put all his life savings into this, and he hired some guys to go out there with picks and shovels, and they did all the research and said, yes, there's gold here, and they went in and they dug and they dug and they dug and they dug and they dug. And things got tough, and the days went on, and they didn't find any gold, and it was just, you know, things were looking gloomy and glim, and the guy got out. He backed out. He said, you know what, I can't take it anymore. I don't have any money to pay these folks. There's no gold here. I don't know what I did. And I bet you some of you guys are thinking that right now. What have I done? I've put money into this business. I haven't done a deal. I feel like I'm banging my head on the wall. And then he sold out. He found somebody to come in. He sold to him very cheaply, enough to pay off his loan. Now this guy came in. This guy had a little bit more education and a little bit more knowledge about the business. He came in, he put his crews to work, and literally, and you can find this on the computer and the history books if you want to find it. I don't know the names and the particulars, but it's true. Literally, 3 feet, I guess you can't see that, 3 feet, twice this much, after where that other team had stopped digging for gold, they found one of the largest gold veins in California. And this guy became mega billionaire rich, wealthy, and it's the truth. You might be this close to your first deal. You know, it takes one deal in this business to change your life, literally change your life. I mean, if you did one deal tomorrow that made you $40,000 or $50,000, would it change your life? No, you're not going to retire after doing that one deal. But your attitude would be so much better. Your bank account would be so much better. And for a lot of you, it would change your life. It would change your financial life. It would pay off your bills. It would let you take that vacation you've been meaning to take with your wife and kids. But you got to be persistent. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been in jail, pounded on those big boulders. I wouldn't. I haven't. But, you know, what I've read is that to break those big boulders, you know, when they used to have, you know, they put them to manual labor when they were in jail, and they take the big sledgehammers, and they'd break, and they'd break, and they'd break, and they'd break, and they wouldn't break. I mean, they'd hit and hit and hit and hit. And these boulders, they would just hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them without doing a dent, without, you know, a scratch. I mean, maybe a scratch. But then all of a sudden, one blow, the boulder would crumble into many little pieces, because it was being weakened from the inside out. And that's what this business is like sometimes. You got to take that one more smack. You got to take that one more blow. And I know some of you feel like you've been knocked around out there. Be persistent. Stick to your guns. This business works. There's not many. This is one of the best vehicles. If you want to work for yourself, work on your own, and you don't have a bunch of money to go out, or great credit to go out and open an office and open some kind of company and borrow $500,000 to do it. I mean, you want to start a Subway or a McDonald's, it's going to cost you from $250,000 to $500,000 just to get in the door, and it might take you years and years and years to break even. So for a business that you can get into on your own, this is an easy business to get into, but you don't pay for it out of your pocket. You pay for it with nerves and sweat, and not literal sweat, but stress, I guess I should say. I know where you're at. I was there. Everybody's there at the beginning. But once you get this business, you get it. You know, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to have stickability. You got to have the ability to take a blow, take a licking, and keep on ticking, as they say. You know, because this business, you're not getting any worse. If you've been in the business for 3 months or 5 months, and maybe you've made a few offers, or you started your education, or you've put out some signs, or run some ads, whatever it is, you're not getting dumber. You're not getting less smart. You're not getting less educated in this business. Every time you fail, you take a step forward. You know, there's a guy that I work with, one of my partners, and his name is Matt. And Matt started with me not real long ago. And he had done some stuff on his own, not long. He had worked for a few months, and he was struggling a little bit, and he came to me. And he's been working for me hard. I mean, this guy busts his butt. And I'll say this, Matt, I shouldn't tell you this, but Matt is willing to work harder than I'm willing to work. And Matt just works and works and works. He's a fireman. He works that job. He works a part-time job at another fire department, and he's been frustrated a few times. And I kept telling him, Matt, hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. Most people in this business, you might push and push and never get a deal, but you'll get that first deal, and bam, it's like bowling pins. They'll start to fall down right afterwards. Well, Matt hung in there, and we've got a closing tomorrow. That's why I'm kind of a mess here. I'm normally not this messy, but I'm dealing with a lot of things. Closings. I got a closing tomorrow, 2 possible closings next week, and another one in about 3 weeks. We're going to bring in, when the dust settles, 38, 28, 38, about $60,000. Now, I bet you Matt is real happy that he didn't give up on this 2 months ago when he got frustrated. And that's the way this business is. One deal can change your life. I've known guys, they come in and do one deal for $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. Once you know the knowledge, what's the difference how many zeros are on it? You do the same amount of work for $1 million house as you do for a $100,000 house, but you got to get the training and the education. You got to have the right tools. So you're not wasting your time if you're spending money on training. If you spent some money on training, or you've bought a program or two, or you've put a lot of hours into this and nothing is panned out, the only way that's all going to go to waste is if you quit. If you quit, then it's all wasted. Persevere. Be persistent. Like I said before, it's stickability is what I call it, and having the right attitude. You know, let's look at people that make big money. Real estate investors make big money. Athletes make big money. Actors make big money. But you know, most of these actors, you hear from them, rock stars make big money. But most of these actors and rock stars, they worked for $200 a week, if they worked, waiting tables at night, cleaning hotels, doing whatever they had to do to put food on their table. Most of them, you don't hear of them. I mean, there's some child prodigies, but most of these actors and rock stars, you know, when I grew up, I was like, man, these rock stars are old. They're all 40 and 50 years old. And I know, granted, that's not old to me now, but when I was 16 it was. Well, that's because they did gigs for $200 a night for 10 years before they become successful, before they became famous. A lot of these actors, now they make, you know, $500,000, $1 million a movie, and much, much more, some of them. But how many years did they put in first? Whacking away on that stone, whacking away on that stone until it crumbled and they got their big break. Well, it's the same thing in this business. You get your first deal, they're going to fall like bowling pins. That's your big break, but don't give up. Don't be afraid to spend a little money sometimes if you have to get training, because you got to be trained, and you got to have support. You got to have somebody you can go to for help. You know, go to your RIA, meet some people, network, get out there so you can call somebody and ask a question. I do deals now that 2 years ago, 3 years ago would have fallen apart, because when there's a problem, I didn't know how to solve them. I learned that by doing. And just like I said before, the more you do, the better you're going to learn, the further you're going to get ahead. Consider joining our primetime program here. I mean, once a month you get to call me, and it's not a lot, but once a month we have a conference call. It's like a little mastermind group. We all talk. We solve each other's problems. You know, we answer each other's questions. We help each other get through deals. That one call a month could make the deal of make the difference in you getting a deal or losing a deal. So consider joining our primetime program here. Plus, you get another call a month where I bring in an expert to give you some good specific hour or two training, and there's other stuff too. But I don't want to make this a sales pitch. But you need a support. You need somebody that you can go to and ask some questions when you need it, because that makes all the difference in the world. I want to read something here about somebody. In 1831, this guy lost his job. In 1832, he was defeated in a run for Illinois state legislator. He was an attorney, I think, and he lost his job. But then in 1832, he ran for Illinois state legislature, and he lost. He opened a business after that. A year later, in 1833, he failed. He lost it all. That business closed. In 1835, his sweetheart, his fiancée, died. In 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. In 1838, he was defeated in another run for Illinois House Speaker. In 1843, he was defeated for the U.S. Congress. In 1848, he was elected to Congress finally in 1846, and in 1848, he lost. He was out. In 1849, he tried to become a land officer. He was rejected, lost. In 1854, he tried to run for Senate. He lost. In 1856, somebody said, why don't you be my vice president? He lost. In 1858, he again lost. This guy lost his business, lost his sweetheart, lost his money, lost everything he tried to do. And then in 1860, Abraham Lincoln became president. That was Abraham Lincoln. How many times did he whack away at that boulder to get where he wanted to go? You're whacking at that boulder now if you're new. And if you're in a slump, this year for me wasn't as good as the years past. Everything changed about 6 months ago. I had to adapt. But now we're rolling. We're going to have 4 or 5 closes in the next few weeks. So it's all a matter of learning and educating and whacking away on that boulder. Keep it going. Be persistent. Have that stickability. You know, the guy that invented the light bulb, I think it was Thomas Edison, Bell, phone, electric. He had like something like 1,000 ways he figured that he failed trying to get the light bulb to work. He always said, well, I know 1,000 ways to make a light bulb. He only needed one for it to work. Finally it worked because he was persistent. What if he quit? What if he quit, you know, on 900? We might be sitting here right now. Oh, that is kind of funny. My light just burnt out. Ha! Sorry. Anyway, you know, what if he gave up? We'd be sitting here in the dark. I was sitting in the dark and my light went out. Anyway, so be persistent, stick in there, hang in there, have some stickability. This business works for you if you're taking the steps, if you're getting some education and you have a support group and you take some action. Don't let things get in front of your dreams. Go for it. Again, if you want to become a Primetime member, get a little bit of help a couple times a month, log in to rei-tv.com, click on member, and right at the bottom there it says become Primetime. It'll show you how to do it, but again, that's not my big push here. My push is to tell you, don't give up, hang in there. Everybody that's succeeded at anything worked for it. It doesn't come easy in any business, nor does it come easy in this business, but this business does work and you can do it. Go to our freebie page. There's a lot of free things there to help guide you and get you some good information to help you choose which avenue you're going to take. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick. This is the Flippin' Right Show, www.rei-tv.com. Now go make an offer.